So on today's topic of pitching, we've got the question from Chris McIntyre here. So he says the worst thing about being self-taught is I don't feel like I can talk myself through an interview. I get stuck explaining the simplest idea. I was asked to talk about reuse identifiers in an interview today and froze. So it's really frustrating. I can do advanced things, and I've been for 2 years and have been in project management lead iOS position at a high-end firm, but sound like I'm just starting out as a developer at times. How can I become better at talking to talk? So great question. Let's dive in. So for a bit of context here, I absolutely bombed my first pitch. It was in front of a crowd of maybe 50, 60 people, live streamed on Facebook and, all mic'd up, and, it went absolutely terribly. But I went from that, and then over a year's time, I pitched in front of 400 people, investors, mentors, things like that, and it went absolutely brilliantly. Couldn't have been more confident. So I'm going to talk you through how I got from 0 to 400 people of comfort, basically. So one of the first things to understand is the importance of body language and tone in communication. So a really good tip is to record yourself or get some feedback from other people if you have them handy, and they can tell you exactly the habits that you're doing, the weird quirks and tics that you might not notice when you're speaking in public. So we've got 55% of communication is body language, 7% is tone, and just 38% is the actual content or the words. So one of the best tips I ever got from my pitching coaches was actually to talk to people like they were 5 years old. Honestly, it might sound like the most condescending thing on the surface, but people have no idea you're doing it, and it makes things so relatable, so understandable, that honestly the effects are just absolutely self-evident. So let's give it a try with something complex, and we'll break it down in the normal method and then the speaking like a 5-year-old, or speaking to a 5-year-old method, and see exactly what you think. So let's take a look at a research project that I'm working on at the moment. So it's about smart stadiums. Croke Park is one of Ireland's biggest stadiums, and it's going to be looking at this diagram here. As you can see, there's a lot going on. You've got some gateways going to a master gateway, going to an IoT hub, with analysis and SQL server, web APIs, power business intelligence from Microsoft onto a web dashboard, and then blob storage as well. So it's a really, really complex diagram. I'm going to try and break this down and explain this like you would to a 5-year-old, and then you'll be able to see exactly the power of that method. So if you imagine that we've got lots of weathermen around the pitch, they're all looking at the pitch. They decide when the rain is going to be coming. They're looking at the skies, and then from the last games that they've been watching and understanding and learning from, they can realize when the pitch is going to get flooded before it actually gets flooded. So what they do is they get all of themselves together, they gather the information, and they report all of the weather to each other, and they analyze it. So by looking at historical data and data from the past, they can actually determine when the pitch is going to get flooded next before it actually does. And what they do is they basically present this on the internet through a nice looking website, so that people online can know when the match is going to go ahead and how likely it is to be cancelled. So Chris, I hope that's helped. Essentially just practice. Definitely record yourself or get someone else to watch you, because understanding your body language, your kind of quirks and movements, they can be really key to unlocking even more potential in your communication skills. Definitely something I'm trying to get better at myself. So keep it up, keep trying, and remember, if all else fails, talk to someone like they're 5.